Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about a letter from a Birmingham jail written by Martin Luther King. Now, before I go into the summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. In a letter from a Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King is in jail, and he's in jail because he was protesting without a permit. He tells us that he's specifically in jail for parading without a permit, and he's sitting in jail and he has nothing to do. He's praying, he's thinking, and he finally gets a chance because he's always busy, and he tells us that he's always busy within the letter. And this is the only time that he kind of gets, because he's in jail. This is the only time he kind of gets to kind of write to his clergymen that are with him. They're supporters of him, but they don't support that he's protesting in the street and that he's breaking laws. And so Martin Luther King writes this letter. It's a very long letter, and he tells them that he kind of builds an argument. Martin Luther King, even though that the clergymen were kind of against him in a way, he's not angry in the letter. He's not volatile. He's not trying to attack them in any way. He's very calm and collected, and he writes an argument to what they were saying, and he kind of like destroys their argument in his letter, and he writes it bit by bit, and he builds a very compelling argument to show why he breaks certain laws and why he's protesting without a permit and why he's trying to stop injustice, and how the laws within the United States during the time of segregation, was just not fair to Black people. So Martin Luther King, he starts the letter. He talks to them. He's welcoming. It's kind of like he was like asking you, how you guys doing? I know you guys are doing well. I'm doing well also, but here's why you're wrong. So he goes into the letter. He says that I know you guys, you feel like that it's not the right time for me to be protesting with other Black people in the streets. I know you feel like I should have picked a better way to fight for civil rights, to fight for equality. But he tells us that I assure you that this is the right time to fight. This is the right time to protest in the streets, because Martin Luther King, he says that we've tried everything. We've tried to follow the rules of segregation. We've tried to follow the rules of the American society, but somehow we're always losing. We're always at the bottom. Even if we follow the law to the letter, we still end up losing. And we try to set up meetings in a formal way, and they reject us. They don't listen to us. We try to vote, they won't let us vote. We try to change laws, they won't let us change laws. So he's saying that Black people during the time of segregation, even if you try your best to follow the rules of the game, you can never win, and you can never be accepted as a part of the game, because the game is just built against you. The rules are not made for you. The rules are just exist to keep you down. And Martin Luther King says, when you're in a society, when you're in a system where the rules that exist only exist to keep you down, you can't really follow them because they're not fair to you. Martin Luther King, he says within the letter that if you're in a society, the way that you should follow rules, or when you should follow rules, is when the rules are for everybody. When no one is above the law, when the rules, the laws serve everyone of every race, color, creed, whatever. And he says that it's only when that's the case that you follow the rules. But he's saying that there is injustice because no matter what I do, no matter how I act, I always lose. And within the letter, he even goes forward and he says that it's something that it impacts us in every side in our lives. And what he's saying by that is, as a Black person in America during the time of segregation, there's certain places you can't go, there's certain hotels you can't go, certain stores you can't go in, you can't shop there, you can't sleep at a certain hotel that you want. There's signs of color and white everywhere, where white people can go, where colored people can go. So every single day of your waking life, every single moment of your life, you're being reminded that you're Black, and there's certain things you cannot do in this country, and there's certain things that you're not allowed to do. And even when you follow the rules, even when you try to do all that you can to be the best person that you can, you're still losing, because the authorities are going to come after you just because they want to. He shows us and he paints a picture. This is what's so significant about Letter from a Birmingham Jail is that Martin Luther King, he shows us this through the eyes of his daughter and how she went to go to Funland, but she couldn't go to Funland because it's, colored people are not allowed. So you get this little black girl who's innocent and who's, she's being introduced to the world. And even though that she didn't do anything, she's being told that the world hates her and that she can't have fun at Funland, and that she can't go to certain places, she can't go to certain establishments, to certain stores because of the fact that she was just born black. So it's something that you didn't do anything to deserve it. It's just the fact that you look different from other people, that you're being pushed down to the bottom of the barrel and there's nothing you can do about it. And because of this, Martin Luther King says that because of the fact that there's injustice here, there's injustice everywhere, because justice is only justice when it fits for everybody. It's not justice when it only exists for some people. So he builds a very compelling argument. It's hard to argue against this because this is the last resort. The fact that he's protesting in the streets, the fact that he's protesting without a permit, is the last result, because the black community, they did everything that they could. They did absolutely everything that they could, to bring about civil rights, to bring about equality, but none of it worked. No one would give them an ear. So, in order to change this, what Martin Luther King does, is protesting on the streets and using the brutality and using the actions of police officers to show the world and to show America and to show white people how horrific their lives are because of segregation, because of things like police brutality. Because in the time of the civil rights era, and even in Birmingham, dogs are attacking black people with dogs, and the dogs are biting them. Even they're not armed, they're not attacking anybody, they're not committing any crimes. They're just protesting on the streets. That's you're under the U.S. Constitution, you can protest in the street, and they're being attacked in the street with these dogs. They're being arrested for no reason. And Martin Luther King, he's not being biased here. He's giving credit to white people who are protesting in the street with him, and there's certain white pastors and ministers that he names within the letter, and other black people and other people who are supporting him. So he's saying that at large, the white community, a lot of people just they're just bystanders and they're not helping out, but there's a lot of white people that are helping out. So it was a movement. Within the letter, he gives people credit. He doesn't like he's not attacking anybody, even the clergymen that are somewhat against them. He's not attacking them. So he gives the people who deserve credit, and he talks about why he's doing this, why he's taking the last result, the last option to make change happen. And he even talks about the planning that went into this, and how he has different system and different organizations all over the United States fighting for justice, fighting for civil rights, fighting for everything to be equal, and how much it's taking. Because when you have no other options, when you can't go through meetings and through negotiations, protest is the only thing you can do. And by showing, it was on newspapers, it was all over the news in many different ways, and seeing innocent people being attacked by dogs, being attacked by police officers, just because they want to fight for equality, it changes the hearts and the minds of people everywhere. And the other thing that makes it very significant, you would say that, oh, why didn't they just file for a permit, right? And Martin Luther King says this within the letter. It says that you would file for a permit, but you're never going to get it, because they kind of use it as a form of control so that you can't protest. So if he could, Martin Luther King would have gotten a permit to protest in Birmingham, but they just wouldn't give it to the black people. So that's pretty much the letter, and Martin Luther King makes it very compelling. He really paints a picture of inequality. He really paints a picture of the injustice that was going around all around the United States, and he even tells us that Birmingham, Alabama, was one of the worst places for Black people, because the violence there, the segregation there, the racism there was just the worst. And that's why he went to go protest there, and that's where he went. That's why he went there to talk about it and to show the American audience what he was fighting for. So by the end of the letter, there's not really an argument you can make, and it's very interesting because Martin Luther King, he not only builds an argument, he brings in history, he brings in Socrates, he brings in the life of Jesus and different parts of the life of Jesus. And this is a letter that is a piece of literature and also a historical document, and it's really well constructed to prove a point. And it would be hard to make an argument against it. In terms of analysis, in terms of the deeper meanings within Letter from a Birmingham Jail, you have to look at the way in which the clergymen were looking at the situation. Because Martin Luther King, he's not attacking them. That's significant. But at the same time, one thing that you can see from this letter is that the clergymen, I guess you can say, the other clergymen, they don't see themselves as being on the wrong side, right? During the time of segregation, a lot of people believed that what they were doing to black people was right. They thought that the rules and the laws were right, and that having a separation between white and black people were the right thing to do. But the thing is, like the, the problem with that is that when you separate services, is that one group is getting horrible services, one group is getting horrible accommodations, and the other group is getting the best accommodations. So it's not really segregated. It's just like, the horrible stuff is for you. You're colored. Here's the horrible stuff, and all the good services. The nice stores, the nice hotels, the nice parks. Everything that's funded by the state or the federal government. It's for white people, or I guess upper class people, and everything else that's bad or not functioning is for black people. And Martin Luther King is saying that it's a hard life to live because when you go somewhere and you want a hotel to stay and you can't stay at that hotel because it's only for whites only, and you kind of have to sleep in your car because that's the only place that you can sleep in. So he kind of shows us that he's fighting for his family, he's fighting for his people, and he's fighting for himself, and he's trying to show a society that believes that there's nothing wrong, that that there is something wrong. And the way, like, for me, one of the things that's one of the things that's most significant within this letter is that the way that Martin Luther King writes, he kind of writes like Paul, the Apostle Paul, and the fact that he's writing a letter and he's bringing Jesus into it. He's bringing how Jesus was protesting in the streets for loving your brother as yourself, and how he's kind of doing the same thing, or he's in the same type of movement that's not accepted by society, but it has to be done because it's how you fight for justice. So in a world, in a country where injustice is everywhere, Martin Luther King, is fighting for justice, and even notes that one day that the world will see that he was on the right side and that he was fighting for the right thing, and that he wasn't just somebody who just got arrested and sent to jail. So he willingly went to jail. He willingly fought for what's right, to show the world the injustice that was in America, to show the world the cruelty and the inequality that existed in the world of black people. Um, and that's one of the most significant things that you see within this letter, and how it's well constructed, and how it proves certain points, and how it brings like Martin Luther King brings several historical characters within his letter to show that a lot of the um, historical figures of the past, they had to break from the pack. They had to break from the social norm to make a change. Because a lot of times when you want to make a change, you can't exist in the same system that you are. You have to break out of that system, and show the society or the system what's wrong with it and how to fix it. So that's my interpretation. That's my summary analysis of Letter from a Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.